Okay, good morning, everyone. Once more, I want to thank everyone for actually taking time to come out for this webinar. Is actually this new strategy that we've adopted for ManageEngine webinar, for ManageEngine, in other words, the means of communication with our resellers due to the pandemic. So we have devised a means of communication and also trying to, at the same time, train our resellers on ManageEngine solution, because without this, we actually cannot go forward from in terms of training. So that's really means through which we can actually reach out to our partners. So that's why we have adopted webinars for training sessions. So the basic purpose of this webinar is actually to empower our partners to sell. We want every one of us to be empowered to sell ManageEngine solution. And this is just first of its kind. We're going to have series of webinar in many other time as the year goes on. So it's team empowered to sell. You're welcome once more. And as we go for this session, for this webinar, we are actually going to treat AD 360. So, and though it will be, I will not be the only I'm not going to be the only one anchoring this webinar. I'm actually joined with a process engineer, Ajoke. She's going to be the one to actually take the AD 360 part of this webinar. So you're welcome on board. Thank you for once more for joining in for this webinar. So I will start by letting you know what we do as in Tranter IT. And Tranter IT is a servicing company, a fast-growing and technology innovation company ranging from IT support to IT infrastructure management. So that's what Tranter IT actually do. And we have actually we have actually partnered with ManageEngine for the past 6 years, and which everybody knows, and we know that ManageEngine is an international software solution company that actually focuses on IT management solution, IT security, and IT infrastructure solution. That is what ManageEngine does, and most of the solutions in ManageEngine has been voiced down to all this what I just mentioned now. And we've actually been partner for over 6 years, and this partnership has actually brought in different and large and a very huge account in Nigeria. So we actually have been putting this effort to ensure that ManageEngine becomes an household name. We've been able to achieve this due to actually marketing strategy that we have adopted that has actually pushed the ManageEngine business into the enterprise world. So that we've been doing for the past 6 years. Though this relationship has actually grown very well. If you can see from the chart, we started ManageEngine partnership with resellers in the last 2 years. That is 2017. Actually, we started with just 9 partners in 2017, and that has actually grown up to over 70 partners that I speak right now in Nigeria. And this is actually one of the strategies that we have adopted to actually increase and revenue generation, and also empower our space in that field of ManageEngine. So ManageEngine has actually been an household name due to all this we have actually done, the partnership with our resellers, marketing strategy that we have adopted in Nigeria. So we are actually grown from that 27 that I speak down to almost about 70 partners currently in 2020. So what we actually do is that we ensure that we create a network that can actually push this business out. So we have created partners in all over Nigeria. We are still creating partners. This is actually a strategy to enable for us to penetrate the untouched areas in the country in terms of this solution. So that is why we are actually doing all we can to ensure that this knowledge is passed to all our partners so that they can actually sell this solution with minimal assistance from IT or from ManageEngine. So this is the objective. We want to ensure that even while we are at this lockdown, we can actually sell this solution and also make good profit, because that's one of the objectives of every organization. So, like I said earlier on, the growth has actually is exponential. We have actually grew exponentially over the years. So, and this is because we have good contribution from our partners, and also we want us to. We actually want our partners to continue with this partnership that we have actually built, because this has actually ensured that empower us to actually grow over the years. So, like I said earlier on, the partnership program has actually grown, and we have over 56 partners in Lagos. We have over 15 partners in Abuja currently as I speak. We have one partners in Ibadan and 3 in Port Harcourt. So our objective is actually to get partners in every region of the country. So that is actually our objective. So we are still moving towards getting our partner registered in every region of Nigeria. Why? We want to penetrate in every corner, every nook and cranny of this country. We want to ensure that this ManageEngine solution is sold in every enterprise company in Nigeria. So how can we do this? We can only do this by having our partners spread around the nation. So we also want to encourage our partner that are registered in Lagos. You can actually go and create your niche in other parts of the country where there is no ManageEngine solution. So that alone can actually give a little or minimal competition among other IT companies. So this is a strategy I'm actually pushing out for our partners to actually go with. So over the years, we've actually have series of good performance from our partners. We have partners that actually they've done very well this year. You know, people will say there is lockdown. Sincerely, I know that there is lockdown, but people are actually making business. We have partners that have actually made millions of naira. Millions of naira. It's not joke. It's no joke. They actually made millions of naira this year. This is just first half of the year. They actually made millions of naira. So if you can see from the screen, I listed 4 partners in no order that actually brought millions of naira. When I'm talking about millions of naira, the minimum amount here is about 18 million thereabout in just this year alone. So let's not give up. Let's not say because there is lockdown that we cannot sell. People are actually selling. People are making business. People are making millions. People are bringing in business in this lockdown. All you just have to do is for you to look at what your client can actually use, what they wanted doing in this lockdown. So you take advantage of that. So you can see on the list, I have Kekam Technology, Meeting Consult, and Jaffa Technology, and Source Computer. In no particular order. These guys have actually brought in millions this year. So I want to encourage you that you can actually be on this list in our next webinar. All you just need to do is that go into your client's environment, look at what they actually needed at this point, the lockdown period. That's the solution they can actually want to spend money on. So that is what you do. That's the strategy. You don't believe that because there's lockdown, like nobody wants to buy. People buy. People buy. I can actually tell you that most of these deals actually came in even in the last 2 months when there was lockdown. Sincerely, when there was lockdown, that's when these deals actually came in. So let's be encouraged that we can actually sell even in this period. Thank you very much. So like I told you earlier on, I said this webinar is going to be anchored by myself and my other colleague, Ajoke Ganiu. She's a pre-sales engineer, so she is very, very grounded in Audits 360. I want to encourage you to sit back and relax and ensure that you take note of every single thing that is said. And if you have any question, anything that you want to say, any concern, you can actually use the chat box below the screen and ensure that you type whatever questions you want. When she finishes our session, we come back and actually assist you in those questions that have been raised. Thank you. Apoke, kindly take over from this session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Harry. I am Ajoke Ganiu, and I'll be handling the technical aspect of this webinar. And thank you all for joining the webinar. So let's talk about Audit 360. First off, what is Audit 360? Now, Audit 360 is a ManageEngine bundle solution that consists of several AD management solutions, 3 major AD management solutions actually, that allows you to manage and monitor your Active Directory seamlessly, end to end. Okay. So, and we've had a 25% increase in requests for AD 360 this year alone. So it is really, people are really going out to get the solution because of the amazing benefits that it has. So let's go into the benefits of AD 360. The first off is increase in productivity. Now, this solution allows increase in productivity in your organization or in your client's organization in this case, since you are the reseller and they are your clients, in the sense that the AD technicians or the technicians as a whole have time to focus on more productive tasks than doing the regular password resets, account unlock, and the other minor things. So they can focus on more productive tasks, thereby increasing productivity. Okay. Then also the AD audit component of AD 360 allows you to meet compliance mandates. Now, while I was talking about AD 360, let me quickly chip something in. So AD 360 is a bundle solution in the sense that, like I said, it comprises of 3 major Active Directory management solutions, which are AD Manager Plus, AD SelfService Plus, and AD Audits Plus. We'll be talking briefly about these solutions along the line during the course of this webinar. So when I said meeting compliance mandates, this is handled by the AD Audits Plus aspect of AD 360. So it allows you to pull compliance reports based on several compliance standards that are inbuilt, like the SOX compliance and the HIPAA, depending on whichever that you use. And this application also helps in reducing training costs, in the sense that your clients have to train less people to manage and monitor their Active Directory from end to end, because they need just a few people to manage these AD solutions and do the same job effectively. And the application also gives real-time monitoring using the alert module and also the intuitive dashboard. And it also have a higher return on investment, and it is a very affordable solution. Please, if you have any questions, we'll get to that along the line. So why AD 360? Why in this pandemic, why do your clients need AD 360? Now, we all know that digital future is tending towards convenience and efficiency. Everything is getting easier done easily, rather. Convenience is the major point. So AD 360 gives you insight into your domain environment, and it also allows you to manage it seamlessly, thereby giving you both convenience and efficiency at a reduced cost. Then, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we also know that many organizations have their staff currently working from home. And at some point in time, their password will eventually expire or their account will eventually get locked out. Now, what happens when any of those 2 scenarios I painted earlier comes into play? Now, the user will have to call the domain technicians to reset their password or unlock their account. But with this solution, all they have to do is reset it from their own end just by visiting the web portal and resetting their password. So that way, like I stated earlier, the technicians can focus on more productive things other than handling my password has expired, my account is locked out, or oh, I've changed my phone number, kindly update it, or I have a new title. All of those trivial things will be handled by the user on their own, and the technicians can do more productive things. Now, who are your target audience? Now, your target audience majorly is any organization with an Active Directory, because the AD 360 application leverages on an existing infrastructure, that is your Active Directory, because it has to sync with it to spool your users, your AD objects generally. And it's preferably large organizations that have large number of domain users. It works mostly for them. That is in the case of the AD SelfService, but we'll get into that as we go on. And the key stakeholders in this purchase of this product are the CIO, the CISO, the IT security analysts, the compliance managers, the IT auditors, and the Active Directory domain administrators. The top ranking officers I listed earlier will most likely be interested in the audit, the reports rather, the intuitive reports that you can get from the application, and also in management to an extent. Okay. So now, here are a list of questions that will help you know that your client needs 8360. So just by asking the questions on this list, you'll be able to determine if 8360 is the solution that caters for the client's need at a particular time. Now, one of them is, how do you handle your bulk management on your AD? Like, how do you handle creating bulk users and the rest? Or how do you clean up your AD? This is also something that AD Manager Plus does for you. Or how often do you clean up your AD? So you have, your client has users or staff that are no longer members of the organization and they've gone and the accounts are still there, serving as a security threat. How often do you clean up? How do you clean up? Do you know you can automate these things using AD Manager Plus, so you don't have to worry about it? Those are questions. Then also, how many domain users do you have in the environment? How do you handle their password resets? Are they constantly calling your technicians to say, my password has expired, my account I'm locked out, none of the likes? How do you handle that? How many password and password reset and account unlock calls do your admins get on a daily basis? I also want to know that. Do you know that the time that they are using to resolve those password reset issues, they could be doing other things? Or how do you enforce compliance in your organization? How do you monitor anomalies in your organization? How do you audit your domain controller, your group policy changes, or your configuration changes? You want to know who is making changes to certain things. How do you know? And it's not until there's a problem or something has happened, somebody has deleted complete OU, and then you're finding out after people cannot access it. How do you know somebody deleted it? How do you know who deleted it? How do you know when it was deleted? How do you know which group policy was audited or was changed or was enhanced, basically? How do you monitor unauthorized access to your assets? How do you monitor privileged user actions? How do you know which exact admin did this? How do you know which exact admin deleted somebody's account or disabled somebody's account? How do you analyze logon failures? How do you know that, okay, this particular person has tried to log into this particular workstation like 10 times today? What is happening? How do you monitor changes in key files with a particular file that is very sensitive in your organization? How do you know who is trying to edit it, who is trying to delete it, who is trying to modify it, and the rest? How do you monitor user activity in your cloud resources, like your Azure AD, logon failures, and all of the rest? So all of these questions will help you know if your client actually needs this solution, or at least is standalone in the bundle. Now, as I stated earlier, 8360 has three major components, three major AD management components. The first one is the AD Manager Plus. Now, what AD Manager Plus does is it allows you to manage your Active Directory objects seamlessly. It also allows you to manage your Active Directory objects seamlessly. And one of the major key selling points of this application is it also allows you to do automation and workflow. Automation, like I stated earlier. Now, in the case of automation, let's assume that you want to, let's use the example or scenario of the AD cleanup I gave earlier. So you have users that haven't logged in probably 30 days, or let's say the maximum leave duration in your organization is 30 days. So if somebody has not logged in for any reason in 32 days, then something is definitely wrong. So how do you know? How do you cater for that scenario? Now, you could set an automation policy that states that users that haven't logged into the domain in probably 30 days, move them to a particular OU. And if they haven't logged in another, say, 5 days, disable their accounts. Or computers that have not been logged into a certain number of days, most likely it is faulty, or it has been stolen or something. If they haven't logged into a computer in a certain number of days, then move it to a particular OU and all of the likes. So that is one of the things that AD Manager Plus does for you. Another key point is it also has the Exchange server integration in it, such that while provisioning a user account, you can also provision an Exchange account for user at the same time from the same console. So you don't have to create a domain account first and go and create a mailbox. Then it also allows you to do bulk management. So you want to create bulk users, you want to create 100 users on your domain. Say your company hires 100 staff at the same time. So as opposed to going to do it one by one on your native ADDS, You can just populate a CSV and you can import it, and that will take care of that for you. Now, we're moving on to AD Self-Service Plus. Now, AD Self-Service Plus is targeted at your client's domain users. By domain users, I mean their staff, people that normally log in to the domain. Now, what this does is it gives the users certain level of autonomy over your AD without giving them access to your Active Directory. Now, I'll explain. So it means that your client's users can do certain things on the domain controller, basically on the Active Directory. Let me use that instead. But they do not have access to it. They can do things like they can reset their password when it expires. They can unlock their accounts. They can change their password, and they can also update information. So they can self-update. For example, you want your users to be able to say that they have a new title. So instead of the HR manager having to keep track of who has been promoted, who has a new manager, the users can do that on their own. They wanting to change their phone number. Say I changed my phone number and I want to update it on the AD. Or my account got locked out and I just want to unlock it myself without having to disturb anybody. And there are security measures in place to ensure that the whole process is secure. You can also have 2FA to ensure you can have multiple levels of authentication to ensure that the process is secure. Now, lastly, we have the AD Audit Plus. AD Audit Plus, by the name Audit, it is strictly for monitoring and auditing your Active Directory. So what this does is it tells you who did what on your Active Directory and when the person did on your Active Directory. So you want to know who tried to log into a particular workstation or who had failed logon access into a particular server and why. So you want to know who tried to change someone else's password, probably an admin in this case. It will do that for you. You want to know who is auditing or who is modifying a particular GPU. You want to know the changes made to a particular GPU or configuration changes. Even your Azure AD, you want to track logon activities, you can do that with AD Audit Plus. Now, AD Audit Plus doesn't just focus on your domain controller. It also extends to cater for your file servers, your member servers, the workstations, and also drills down to file integrity monitoring to say that you have a particular file in a shared folder that a lot of people access, and you want to know who is trying to access the file, you want to know who is modifying it, you want to know who tried to delete it, you want to know who doesn't have access to it or was trying to access it. That way, you know exactly what is happening with that particular file at every point in time. And we had a Gartner rating of 4.6 in 2019 for AD 360. Now let's talk about licensing. Now, AD 360 is licensed based on the individual modules, the individual components in the particular bundle. As I stated earlier, that AD 360 is a bundled solution. And these are, and I explained the three major components of AD 360. There are some other ones, but these are the three that are targeted at your Active Directory. Now, AD Manager is licensed based on the number of domains and number of technicians. And AD Self-Service is licensed based on the number of domain users. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 staff and you want all of them to be able to reset their passwords themselves, to be able to log in themselves and unlock their accounts, so you get licenses for the 1,000 of them. Then AD Audit Plus is a bit more detailed because, like I said, it is not just for your domain controller. You can also audit your file servers, your member servers, your NAS servers, your workstations, your Azure AD tenants. So it is licensed based on the number of any of those things you want to monitor. So let's say you want to monitor, you want to audit 2 domain controllers, 10 file servers, 10 member servers, 10 workstations, 50 Azure AD tenants. It's licensed based on that. Then we also have an add-on that's Exchange Reporter Plus, but it is for your Exchange server and it's licensed based on the number of mailboxes. It is for those that have Exchange servers running in-house and they want to audit it or they want to manage it using this application. Now, how do you know when to demo? When do you demo Audit 360 or any management solution for that matter to your client. Now, a demo is usually done after your client already has basic information or basic understanding of the solution, of what the solution does. So your client already knows that AD 360 has certain components and this is what they do. Then you can have a demo session to say this is how it does what you were told or what you know that it does. And also, what should you be focusing on when you are doing this demo? First of all, you should focus on features that alleviate the stress of your client. So let's say your client said, okay, when you asked how do you monitor or how many password resets tickets or requests do you get on a daily basis, or how do you manage? Because when they're saying, oh, we always have like, because we have probably 10,000 staff, or let's say 1,000 staff, and we have like everybody's password expires at least once a month. So for every month, we have like, let's say 50 password resets in 2 weeks, or maybe 200 in 2 weeks. So, and it is really hectic because we have to wait. So then when you are demoing AD 360, you know that you should focus on AD self-service, and you should probably show or most likely actually, you should most likely pose a scenario whereby you are trying to unlock your account using the application. So you show the client how the account unlock is done using the application. The client is saying, my environment, or one of your clients is saying, my environment, or somebody just deleted one whole OU, or just deleted somebody's account, and we don't still know who exactly did it or the likes. So you know that when you're demoing AD 360, you touch every module, but when you get to that particular module that actually takes care of your client's pain points or that alleviates their stress, you focus on it, give scenarios, you try to show them how it works exactly. So that is that. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, you can ask in the question and answer section. And at the end of this webinar, we would visit them. I'll be handing over to Mr. Henry Agbose to continue this webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Adoke, for that rich and short knowledge you just passed to on the webinar for on AD 360. I want to believe that everybody understood what AD 360 does and how it works in the customer environment. Okay, so what I'm going to actually focus on this session is just on how do you engage your client. Like I said, though there are various ways you engage your clients. Every salesperson has his own strategy that he can adopt, but because there's a standard on what is being done in terms of selling to clients, so what you should do, what you do and what you shouldn't do while selling. So that's what I'm going to tweet in this session. So, oh, sorry for the little break in transmission. I think this was due to a technical challenge. Okay, so what are those things that you're going to do while you want to sell to your client? Like I said, you can see from the screen I'm sharing, from my screen, we have processes that you go through in sharing, in selling an AD audit solution. The first process is for you to share a proposal. Now, before you go into a customer's environment, you want to share a solution with the customer. What you need to do is for you to get a proposal and share with the client to let him know what the solution can actually do to the customers and what it can actually do to your clients. So if you don't have a proposal, you might not be able to penetrate into the client's environment. So it's very, very important to have a proposal to share with your client. So we have proposal on all ManageEngine solution here in our office. Anytime you want to get this proposal, you can actually reach out to me. I'll share any of those proposals you requested for. I can share it with you. So what you just need to do is that on the proposal I'm going to share with you, you can actually brand it on your company name, because it's actually coming with the logo of Tranter IT. You can just remove the Tranter IT logo on it and put your company name and just send the proposal. Then that's the first stage you're actually going to pass through when you are actually going to sell to your client. So this process I've just mentioned is not a generic process per se, but what we have actually tried and actually worked for us. So what you do is that after you share the proposal, definitely the client is going to go through the proposal and actually want to see a demo on how it works. So every ManageEngine solution has a web demo. So the way you can actually do that with you, if you want to go into your client's environment, we can actually go with you, or we can actually have a session with you so that you can engage your client. So, excuse me, there's a demo for each of those ManageEngine solutions. Once that is done, and you ensure that you've done the demo to actually convince the client on how it works. So the next process is for you to register the opportunity. You know, it's very, very important, because I, as the channel sales manager, I find it very challenging managing opportunity here on my table. So it's very important that when you are engaging your clients, once you have gone to the level of demo, you share proposal, you just go to the tranterit.com/registration portal, try and register this opportunity, so that whenever other partner comes in with that same request, I will know that somebody is already in this opportunity, so that we are trying to avoid conflict. So there's no way we can do without conflict in the channel space, but it can actually minimize conflict. So once that is done, it helps me a lot. And also, once the deal is registered, we put in all the questions that are requested for you to be filled. Once it's done, you send to submit it. I get it. Really, I get it. I just approve it once nobody is on that opportunity, and it becomes your deal. So the next level after deal registration is what? Commercial. So in every of the ManageEngine solution that we sell, we have questionnaire that we share with our partners. You can actually share this questionnaire with your client. This actually is going to help you to get the best of what the client wants, and you can actually get the full scope of work too through the questionnaire. So instead of you going just into the client environment trying to ask the number of technicians, the rest of it, this questionnaire can actually give you, can send it to your client. You can actually get to know the number of technicians, the number of domain control, whatever thing, based on the kind of solution that you are teaching to the client. So reach out to me anytime for questionnaire on any of those ManageEngine solutions that you want. Even on this Audit 360, we have it. I will share with you. So once that is done, so after you send a questionnaire and your client gets back to you, now the next process is that you actually know the number of technicians that the client have, you know the number of domain controllers. So with that, you can actually go for a POC. So POC is actually what we are actually doing the POC based on what the requirement the client has in his environment. So because of the fact that you actually send a questionnaire and they're getting back to you, and you know what they have. So the POC is like more like we are already pushing the client into their environment, though it's not the live environment, but it's a test environment on the solution. So that when they get to the live environment, they won't have any itch. So any of those issues that they could encounter while on the live environment would have been resolved while you're on POC. That's why it's very important that you ensure that you engage your client on POC. The one that is done, the client is satisfied with the POC. The next stage is you receive your PO or you receive payment from your client. So the next, after that, you go for deployment. Deployment most times is not actually that necessary anymore, except for little few things that additional that's going to be done, because we actually have gone through the POC. It's more like a partial or more of like a mini deployment. Once you've done a POC, to the extent that the client has it already in their environment, so you're just going to do a little deployment when they wanted to go on live. So that's just what I experienced. So it's very important to engage your clients on POC. Why? They're actually going to see how it works in a live environment. Once that is done, you've done deployment, the client start using the solution. The next thing you're going to do is for you to go to the client's environment and do an check. You understand? We in Tranter IT, we do that for all our clients, to any of those clients that we sold ManageEngine solution to, we go back to them to ensure that they are actually having the best of the solution. They're actually making use of the best of the solution. Sometimes a client can actually buy a ManageEngine solution without even making use of actually making use of it to the maximum use and what's expected to be done with the solution. So we can actually go into the environment and see if they are using the solution. If they are not, you can actually try to let them know what they are not actually maximizing in that solution. So that's why health check is there. Most times, health check is actually for you to know if they are okay, with the solution. Because if a client is not very okay and is not satisfied with the solution, he might not want to renew it when it comes to their anniversary year. So after that is done, they are satisfied with the ManageEngine solution. The next thing you're going to do is for you to actually cross-sell. So we in the channel department, we are actually encouraging our partners to cross-sell ManageEngine solution. Because you have sold a ManageEngine solution, SDP solution in a client's environment does not mean that you just go back and sit and relax. You can actually cross-sell all ManageEngine solution in that environment. So it's very important. Don't allow any other partner to come and take over what you've sold in your client's environment. You can push AD Plus, you can push Service Desk Plus. So the good thing about it is that most of these ManageEngine solutions actually integrate with each other. So just in the last webinar we did talked about Desktop Center. You can actually integrate Desktop Center with AD Plus. So you can also do that with AD360. So we can sell cross-sales in that client environment. So don't just relax that, okay, because I've sold this AD360, let me just go back and sell other solutions. You can sell other ManageEngine solutions. All ManageEngine solutions can be sold in a single environment. And most especially, you can actually leverage on the profit that's going to come in while you sell this solution. So just in order for us to empower our resellers, what we have actually brought down for our partners is resources available to our partners. What we actually put in place to actually encourage our partner to sell. We have a solution books, we have data sheets, flyers, and brochure. We have a demo link, overview of the video, proposal samples, and solution selling, registration portal. So all these things will be sent to you at the end of this webinar. Also, we have it. You can actually reach out to me whenever you want to get any of these solutions, any of these resources. We have these resources for all ManageEngine solutions. We have data sheet. You can reach out to me. If you want to share a data sheet with your clients, you can reach out to me. If you want to share a flyer or brochure, we have ManageEngine brochure. We can do that. You have the link for all the videos. You have the link for all the demo link. You have the overview of the video. We have the link for all the demos. You want to do you want to get the link for the demo, we can share that with you. So don't just feel that we are not there to assist you. We are actually there to assist you. Whatever thing you want to do, we want to ensure that we go into the client environment with you to go and pitch the solution. We can do that. We can actually do that. We are there to ensure that our partners sell. So you want us to do a demo with your partner, we can do that. You understand? Or you want us to train you on how to demo, then you go back to your client and do the demo. We can actually do that. So you understand? So just reach out to me on my email, channel@tranterit.com. You can reach out to me, ensure that spell out what you actually want. I'm going to ensure that you get it. Because one, my objective is to ensure that the partner sell. And if you don't sell, I have not sold. So it's very, very important for you to sell. Because once you sell, in turn, it's more like it brings profit to me and also to you. So I want to encourage you that we are together in this business, and we need your partnership. We ensure so that for us to get to where we actually want to get to. So don't be discouraged about the pandemic. It's actually going to come out of the pandemic. Very obvious. So let's work with what we have now and see how we can use that what we have to actually sell in this period. So our next session is the Q&A session, Q&A question session, where you can actually go through the questions and answers session where we look at what solutions. Okay. If I'm looking at this from this, I can see a question saying, is this license one-off or annual payment? Okay. This is from Mr. Ovie Omaro. Yes, the license is could be one-off and it could be annual. Why? Because we have a subscription license and we have perpetual license. So you can actually tell your client to go for perpetual license. That means that while your client pay for perpetual license, you can actually there's no point paying every month or every year. So once it's just one off, the only thing that you pay is AMS. AMS is annual maintenance subscription. That's for ManageEngine, but it's the peanut. It's not as much as the normal subscription fee. So we also have a subscription-based license. That's one you pay every anniversary year. So that's the kind of payment that you can actually do on this solution. So Sir Amos, he said the product was not well introduced for some of us that are new to understand this. Okay, yes, I want to apologize for that. What we do is that if you really want to get more about this solution, more details about this solution, you can reach out to me. We can do a one-on-one training with you on this AD audit laws and other solutions. And also we ensure that we're going to send this the video, the recording video of this, we're going to share it with you so that you can actually go over it and understand better. So if you have any question, you can still reach out to me via my mail, channel@tranterit.com. Just channel@tranterit.com. Once you can do that, I will ensure that every of your requests is granted. Also, David Anthony said, you don't have access to portal. So I don't really understand. Is it the deregistration portal? Yes, if you don't have the deregistration portal, we're going to ensure that the link is shared with you while we are sharing the videos and resource solution. We're going to share the deregistration portal with you. I want to understand that's what you actually was asking. But I have a question from can individual become your reseller? What are our gains as a reseller? Okay, for you to become a reseller, you must be a registered IT company. For you to become a reseller, you must be a registered IT company. However, we have packages for those that want to sell individual. They want to start individual people that actually want to resell the solution. But that is not as the same as the channel partner space. So if you want to sell the solution, you can actually reach out to me on what you stand to gain when you are selling as individual to an end user. So you can reach out to me on that. Or if you are selling as an IT company to the end user, we have a margin that you can actually get. You get a margin of 15% on the license fee or 10% on the license fee, all based on the parts that you can actually implement the solution. So if you can implement the ManageEngine solution and you can deploy it, you have a 15% margin. But if you cannot, you have a 10% margin on the license fee. So there's a request, question from Adekule Oyela. How can we get license for partner so as to run in our lab? Okay, I'm trying to get this, what this actually question, what this question actually meant to. I don't understand. How can we get a license for partners so as lab? Okay, you need a license. You need a test. If I'm getting it clearly, probably you want you want to have a test environment of the solution in your lab for it to run. Reach out to me on that. I can actually do that. I can request for a trial license, and we can have that running in your environment, so you can actually see how it works in a live environment. That's very important too. There's a question from Mr. Bonnie. Said, what do you mean by technician in the license model. Adoke? I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can.
Okay, I have a question from Mr. Bonnie. It says that what do you mean by technician in the license model?
Okay, so technicians are the IT staff that would actually log into the application to manage it. And I mentioned technicians when I said AD Manager Plus. Now, these are your IT support staff or probably your AD admins that would use the application to manage your AD. So those are your technicians. Is that clear? Or do you want me to explain further?
Okay, thank you very much. I think Mr. Bonnie get that very clear. But if you don't, you can actually send a message. We can tweet your question even behind this. Also, you can also send it while we are still live. We can actually answer your questions.
Okay.
So, okay, I think I've tweeted that from David and Tony. Say from Chikwe, all panelists and attendees, please send in your email again. Okay, we're going to share your email so that you can have access to us. And those, from this is Mr. Donny again, can those technicians be also be subject to audit? Yeah, I think that.
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. You can audit your technicians.
Yes, because you can actually know, for you to know if something is adjustment has been made, right?
Yeah, you want to know the exact technician that made those changes. So yes, you can audit the technicians. Because more often than not, your users don't have access to your domain controller, the Active Directory. It is your admin guys that actually handle that. So you're auditing what they are doing. So you want to know the particular AD admin that disabled somebody's account. You get that.
That's interesting.
Any other questions for me?
Yeah, I'm scrolling up. I'm trying to see if there's any.
Okay.
Okay, David, I've seen your email. They're going to share the link with you. Okay, so there's this question from Mr. Bonnie saying, okay, can you hear me? Says, can they delete the audit trail?
No, they can't. And more often than not, in organizations that use the AD Audit Plus, for example, because that is the exact tool that focuses on auditing what everybody is doing in your domain environment. So more often than not, they do not allow technicians have access to the AD Audit Plus. Now they have access to the AD Manager, so they can manage the domain objects from there. But it is the audit guys, the compliance, that actually handle the AD audits most times, because they are the ones that are auditing what technicians are doing. And now, yes, actually, the technicians have access to delete an audit trail, but that depends on the permissions given to them. So you could give a technician access to just do certain things, maybe view certain reports, but doesn't have access to administration, then they won't be able to delete anything. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. I have a question here. Is it possible for us to get a demo on this solution here? Yeah, if you want to get a demo on this solution, we can actually have that with you, because this webinar is actually a timed webinar. So you can actually reach out to me on the channel@tranterit.com. Let me send a chat on right now. I will send a chat on my email so that you can actually reach out to me if you need a demo on this solution, or I need a further engagement. So you can reach out to me on this email, channel@tranterit.com, and so we can talk business. And so, can we integrate Ajoke, are you with me there?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, so there's a question from Adekunle Oyola. He said, can we integrate with a syslog or CM?
No, no, you cannot integrate with a syslog. No.
Okay, okay. I hope that answers Adekunle's questions. I'm just going to begin to see if we have any questions to be yet to be attended to. Concerning your question, why we try to see how we can wrap up this webinar.
Okay, so let me just add a little more. Let me shed a little more light on that last question of integrating with a syslog or a SIEM. Now, we cannot integrate Audit 360 with a syslog or a SIEM, but ManageEngine has its own SIEM suite of solutions that's also called Log360. So if you want to find out more about that, you can also let Mr. Henry know, and he can work up a meeting for you. And there's also a webinar coming up, and that is going to actually take care of the same aspect. On
okay.
4th of June, 14th of July, sorry, on the 14th of July. So it's going to be a webinar that's going to take care of the same aspect, security. So Mr. Adekunle Oyola, I suggest that you attend to be very insightful.
Okay, so I have a question from David. Thank you, Mr. Chikwe, for actually bringing that to my notice. I have a question from David. He said, what solution do you have for health cares and law firm? He said, do you have any solution for health care and also for law firm?
Okay, so considering that you can reach out to Mr. Henry after this webinar, that is a different aspect entirely from the focus today. So you can reach out to Mr. Henry after this webinar, then we'll get to talk with you and give you feedback on all of those things. Healthcare and law firm, definitely.
Okay, okay. Let me see if I still have some other questions that I still to get addressed. Okay, I have a new questions here. Okay. Okay, I'm happy to be in this meeting. Great. Thanks for Mr. Henry and good missions. Okay. We actually appreciate you that coming from you, Mr. David. And kindly reach out to us if you have any other challenge, and we can actually see how we can work together with you and see how we can achieve our aim for this year. Okay, so I want to assume that there is no other question again. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that took part in this webinar. I sincerely, looking at the weather, everybody, and looking at the other engagement that you have, for taking time out to take part in this webinar. We really appreciate that. We actually want to make you understand that you are actually in our mind. We want to ensure that you sell. We want to ensure that money comes into your bank this period. So I want to encourage you that yes, we are actually going through this pandemic. Yes, it's one of those things that happened before, and people actually came through it. So we want to encourage you that we all are going to come out through this pandemic, and also let's not just think that because there's pandemic we cannot actually sell. People are actually selling. We thank God for zero remote. We have zero remote. You can actually work from home and also reach out to your client now. So this pandemic has actually given us the next level of engagement, which is web and online engagement. So you can actually engage your client online and reach out to me online. If you want to have a meeting with me on any solution, just reach out to me. We see how we can book solution. If you want to want us to go into the client empowerment with you, we can do that. So all we are just after, we want to ensure that this period, we know it's very difficult right now. but we know that we can do it. People are doing it already, and we can actually do that. So I want to thank you once more. I want to really appreciate you. Just let us have this spirit going. Let us have this same spirit. Let us give up because of this pandemic. Let's ensure that we can actually make this something out of this pandemic. So I want you to actually take time to attend the next webinar that will be coming on the 14th of July. So though we're going to share that link with you, and we want to ensure that this period we pass all the knowledge that we have to ensure that our partner can actually sell this period. So right now, I want to leave in the hands of my colleague, Ajoke, to actually say some few words. Ajoke?
So once again, thank you to everybody that took time out to join this webinar. Really appreciate it, and we look forward to being partners with you in the future. Thank you very much, and stay safe.
Okay, thank you very much once more.